Hi, I'm Tony Staunton, Irish bartender out of Chicago. After years of drinking, I decided to take a year off. So as I begin my journey, I decided to ask fellow bartenders what they do to stay healthy and avoid the industry hazards of the bar business. Welcome to Wide Awake 52. Kayla Borton, welcome to Wide Awake 52. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
How are you feeling?
I'm doing okay.
Excellent. Well, I'm delighted to have you on here. You know, as a a whiskey professional, you're in an industry that's thriving right now, and you're front and center. You cover a huge portfolio, and obviously you're very knowledgeable. It must be a really exciting time to be in the whiskey business.
It's definitely an interesting time right now, but it's a great time to be working on the brands that I'm working on. Mostly, I was doing Woodford Reserve and Old Forester for the longest time for Brown-Forman, and right before COVID lockdown happened, I switched over to Slane Irish Whiskey and our scotches, which are Glendronach, Benriach, and Glenglassaugh.
So before all this, when you were visiting accounts and you had a hectic schedule, so tell me a bit about you. So you started off as a bartender, or you have a culinary background?
So a kind of a weird mix of things brought me to where I am today. I actually went to school for film, and I started bartending because it was not very lucrative to be a production assistant. At the time I was. Came up kind of in beer and shop bars, and then met my mentor and just kind of realized that spirits, hospitality, this industry was really the love of my life and where I wanted to be.
So you're doing tastings, and you're hosting events, and you're working really hard, and obviously other people want you to join them and imbibe and have fun. And how do you kind of keep a gauge on that and kind of keep it responsible?
Yeah, so definitely, other ambassadors and people on the supplier side of things will say we have to go out a lot. We're expected to always be on and, be hospitable on the kind of the other side of the bar as an extension of you to your guests, and to really be there for you as well. I think that the responsibility aspect comes into play a lot, drinking responsibly when we're out in accounts, visiting you all, really just making sure that everyone around us is drinking responsibly. So when you're kind of feeling responsible for the people around you, I think responsibility comes a little inherently, to just consume responsibly, not over imbibe when we're out, and really kind of just set boundaries before you go out for the evening.
Like when you're working late night, do you have a certain point where you don't eat anything, or do you have to eat lighter? Or?
Yeah, so it just kind of varies. I'm a runner. That's how I hope to stay in shape through all of this. Running's very therapeutic for me, just not even physically, but also mentally. I ride my bicycle, kind of stay active that way. But eating and drinking is a big thing when we're out late. I really try to cut it off at a certain time. But I also listen to my body, and I think that's the biggest thing that I try to tell people. If you've even had a little bit too much, to drink at any point, you should eat. You should eat before you're drinking. So I try to always eat a big meal early in the evening. But yeah, I try not to eat past 10, and that's usually a pretty good cutoff. I also try to really not drink past 10. So if we're going out for a long evening, just to stop drinking early, and then you can really just experience the night as it goes on and enjoy yourself.
And how do you manage the time? Because but here's the thing: if I close the bar, I probably don't have to start again until like 11 or noon the next day. If you know what I mean. So, but you, on the other hand, you still have to get to the office. How do you find that balance when you're at an event late and you have to be you're on a Zoom conference at 8:00? Or what's the secret to that?
Yeah, it's really incredible how well you sleep when you stop drinking earlier in the evening. So cutting that drinking off, you can still go out and you can still enjoy yourself and have a few cocktails, beers. But I find if I stop drinking earlier, that even if I get a smaller window of sleep, it's more restful. So yeah, we do have to wake up at, sometimes I have calls at 8, 9 a.m. and I was out until 1 o'clock the next night, the night before. But the restfulness is what it really comes down to, not so much the time. It's something you don't think about until you actually see the effects of it.
Tina, thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it.